my Lord Hand.
Sir Wayne, welcome to King's Landing.
How exhilarating to arrive at court after 3 long months on the road to find my Lord Father, who served 3 kings faithfully, unseated as Hand of the King.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Episode 3 of House of the Dragon's second season is over, and this one brought back bad memories from the latter seasons of Game of Thrones when the narrative began to fall apart. Although Dan and Dave didn't write this episode, it certainly felt like it. It's idiotic to have Rhaenyra, the queen, enter King's Landing when Aegon is sitting on the throne. This all reminded me of the trip beyond the wall in season 7 of Game of Thrones to capture a white so that they could convince Cersei to join them in the fight against the Night King. The main reason for that Game of Thrones plot was that so that we could see all of our main characters interact in the Dragon Pit. In House of the Dragon, we have Septa Rhaenyra.
Shame! Shame!
She's here so that they can cram in an inessential scene between Rhaenyra and Alicent. We don't need this. Alicent doesn't have to learn about her Aegon era and Rhaenyra about her father's final words. Often, the best part of stories are the misconnections or misconceptions which lead to terrible things happening or characters not knowing the truth.
The next time we see each other, we'll talk about your mother.
Before we get to the actual meeting, which was like a parody, it's important to recognize that getting Alicent to help end the war is pointless and simple-minded. She has no power. It was Aemon that killed Lucerys over Storm's End. It was Aegon and Cole who sent Eric to kill Rhaenyra. And then from Baela, who incidentally provided some of the best scenes in this episode, Rhaenyra learned that Criston Cole is on the march. How is Alicent going to stop this? Unless Rhaenyra is going to King's Landing to surrender and seek out mercy through Alicent, Rhaenyra has to be denser than a werewood to believe that Aegon is going to relinquish the throne and everything can just be worked out at this stage. So in this episode, the doubt and condescension that Rhaenyra's council showed her was validated by her own actions. Was this the intent of the writers to make Rhaenyra look like an idiot? What's funny too is that Rhaenys was all in on this plan. She told Rhaenyra that Alicent could stop the war, yet when Rhaenys was in King's Landing, she was so confident of Alicent's power to make a difference that she burst out of the dragon pit killing scores of innocent civilians so that she could get the hell out of there. These two make quite a team. Even though we don't need an Alicent and Rhaenyra scene now for the story, and it's pointless to meet her because she's powerless, if you're Ryan Condal and you still want to force it into the show, at least do it outside of King's Landing. Are there problems with arranging such a meeting? Yeah, of course, and like I said, I would have left out this scene altogether, but if you're really set on it, you can't do it here. It just sucks all the believability out of the story and damages the characters. I cringed when Rhaenyra pulled out a knife. The Kingsguard is as clueless as the writers, and they don't believe that the Dowager Queen could now be killed too, even though her grandson was just beheaded. Might as well give her plenty of space in public. Rhaenyra's journey to King's Landing was as much of a suicide mission as Eric's to Dragonstone. The difference, though, is that he realized it was a one-way trip, whether he was successful in killing Rhaenyra or not. Rhaenyra acted and looked ridiculous. She's only surpassed in the Game of Thrones world by the costumes they put on Jaime and Bronn for another misbegotten plot. What's irritating about all this, too, is that they not only made Rhaenyra look foolish, but Alicent, too. As she walked away from Rhaenyra, she could have turned her in and gone a long way to winning the war, if not completely doing so. But no, let the queen go, so that in the future, you can waste countless lives fighting against her. Now she's free to go back to Dragonstone and defeat you.
Madness and stupidity.
There were things I did like about the episode. I thought getting to know Rhaena and Baela a bit more was good. Those moments worked, although Rhaenyra's imbecilic orders to Baela about not engaging the Greens might have saved Criston Cole's life. There was some levity in Daemon's early scenes in Harrenhal.
Pledge fealty to Rhaenyra of House Targaryen, first of her name. I swear this by the old gods and the new. Supper is venison with black cabbage and peas. No red currant. Sorry about that.
And him having visions was a nice new twist. The introduction of Alice Rivers, though, was underwhelming, and the delivery of this line clunky.
You will die in this place.
I continue to enjoy what they're doing with Aegon. Laris knows how to handle and manipulate the king by showing him consideration and respect. Perhaps if Otto and Alicent had taken a page from that book, things wouldn't be as out of hand as they are. I was wondering why they would have Gwaine Hightower in this season and not Daeron, but the casting of Freddie Fox was a good one, and now that I see how Gwaine fits into the story, I think including him was a good choice. I wish some of the time wasted on the final scene had been used to show us more of the Riverlands and the fight between the Blackwoods and the Brackens, but instead it became more of a footnote for this episode, like Jason the North from the premiere. This episode was the weakest, not only of the season, but of the series so far. I was enjoying it until the final scene, and then it just came apart at the seams. I'm concerned about where the series is headed. If we have the sort of writing that we saw at the end of episode 3, then we're really in for it. Before the season started, I was worried that the show wouldn't take enough time to develop characters and tell the story in favor of jumping from one major event to the next. Well, after that scene with Rhaenyra and Alicent, I'm now more in this for the spectacle.
We have given the war to the dragons.
Yeah, bring on the dragons and the Battle of Rook's Rest. If you enjoyed this one, hit the like button. And if you're interested in more on House of the Dragon and A Song of Ice and Fire, listen to Caraxes and subscribe. I want to thank everyone for watching, and I'll see you soon.